Hi, I'm Anand.
And I'm Luisa.
We are the Twilight Explorers.
The question that we get most often is, how did you two meet?
We are going to tell our fascinating story in this special limited series called PenFriends. I was born in Ahmedabad, India. I grew up there for first 16 years of my life. My father's name was Praveen and my mother's name is Nalini. And Praveen means someone who is very skilled, clever, and Nalini is a lotus that only opens at night and all. My father's cousin, he was a friend in the same group as my mom, and from what I've heard, that he liked my mother very much. And my mother was an artist and interested in art, and my father was an artist. My father's cousin, he wanted to impress my mom because he had that look, I have artist friends too, because my mother loved art. So she introduced my mom to my dad and all. And from what I know, is my mother fell in love with my father and all. So that's how they met. But coming from different caste and different social status, when they told their parents that they want to get married, it wasn't well accepted. Actually, my mom's dad, who was in those days a police commissioner and pretty high status and all, he didn't even attend the wedding of my parents. Now, in those days, it was in 1952, and one coming from Brahmin family, my mother, and my father is from Jain family. In those days, normally, actually rarely, intercaste marriage, also from two different social statuses and all, was rare and all. But they just decided to get married, and that in India in those days was called a love marriage. It wasn't an arranged marriage, right? Normally that happens in India and all. This was quite revolutionary in 1952 when they got married and all. And the love of art was something that kept them together. A year after they got married, I was born. Very, very loving, wonderful childhood. In my mother's, both sides, there are big families and all. And initially we lived in joint family, but I spent a lot of time growing up with my mother's family too. And that was also very much every evening when my father is in town, he had a Morris Minor convertible car. And moment he comes home from work, we all run and all, and we'll sit down. And in those days, he'll open the hood and we'll sit down on that, back of the car. And nowadays, you can't do that. And then we'll go around the town, and my brother and I and my mom and all will be singing like a craziness. People think these are crazy people and all. And we are driving, my father will take us for a ride and tell us stories and all. So all throughout my childhood, it was a wonderful, memorable childhood and all. That they encourage us to pursue very creative ventures and all. So the school that was founded by my grandfather's sister, it's called Sharda Mandir. Basically, Sharda is the basically goddess of knowledge. It was really a place for education, not just studying from the books and all. And our principal Vajubai, and from him, the type of practical lessons he taught by just taking us out in outings and taught the real life lessons, real life science and geography and all, by taking us around and all. It's just nothing but, I said, the foundation that I got from the school was so solid that it has helped us through lifetime and all. Combination of having very loving family life and lots of encouragement both in the home and in school helped me in shaping my life what it is and all.
I grew up in Manila, Philippines, where Chinatown is, and I went to school there from elementary until high school. And my father came from China, and when he was like 16 years old, he's from Amoy, which is Fujian, China. And he traveled by boat to come to Manila, Philippines. This is before the war. When he traveled by boat, he said it takes a month to reach from China to Manila. He works initially for some, like just those labor work. And then he saved enough money. Finally, he settled in Laguna, the Binyan Laguna, and opened like a sari store. See, in Philippines, every corner there's a sari store. When he went to Manila, he was only like 15, 16 years old. My father is the only person from his family who went out of China. Everyone was left behind there because the life in China during those times is really hard. So he had to get out and make a life for himself in Philippines so that he can send money back home. And my mom grew up in Tarlac, La Paz. My mother and father met through friend. And then they get married in 1952. And then they settled in Manila, Chinatown. And that's where we all grew up in that neighborhood. See, we don't really go out as much there. We just stay at home. Like you go to school and then come back home and then do your homework. It's a happy childhood, you know. It's a happy, like, in the environment, but we normally just stick in the house. That's how it is. We just, for example, if we want to go to the province, that's the only time we're going to travel from the city to the province. I only starts going out a lot with my friend when I was in high school. And luckily for me, my mother never restrict me. My best friend in high school is Helen. And we're always like gallivanting, like, because we are already, I think we already know something. So my mother trusted me because we can go around Chinatown, we can go around Divisoria. We just walk around with Helen. I think in a day, maybe we walk like maybe 5 miles, 10 miles per day. And with that, because when I went to high school, I will always pass by this street. Maybe it's a mile to go to my high school. And I developed a liking towards Indian. And so there's the store there with lots they sell like bedsheet and towels. And I always will look at those Indian people, the Indian guy. I said, oh, they look so handsome. Just cannot say hi to them because they look so strict and they look mean. But I have a very, very happy teenage year with Helen Tan because Helen is my buddy. In the school, we start to develop to write pen pal. Thank you for watching part 1 of PenFriends. We will tell you more about how our story unravels in the next video.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Twilight Explorers channel to keep up with our travel adventures.